Hey guys, my name is Mark, and I just want to preface this video with the fact that it is a video about editing. I do work as an editor in the broadcast, film, and television world, and it's just a critical milestone I've reached in my schedule that I kind of wanted to share with you guys in the hopes that you can kind of get a sense of what happens behind the scenes in post-production for film and television series, and maybe there's some information here that you can take away and apply to your own edits. So without any further ado, let's get into it.
Okay, campers, rise and shine, and don't forget your booty, 'cause it's cold out there.
It's cold out there every day. What is this, Miami Beach?
Not hardly. And you know, you can expect hazardous travel later today with that.
Today is rough cut day. Today is rough cut day. Today is rough cut day. I got my free cafe, and it is Groundhog Day. Totally not how I wanted this day to start. Knocked the desk with the chair. Camera fell over. I caught the camera and saved the camera and the lens, but I lost my coffee in the process. Holy crap, that was close. Whew. That was a bit more dramatic of a morning than I had planned, but it's okay. A little spilled coffee, nothing got broken. More importantly, the camera was saved. I don't know how I did that. How did I do that? I don't know how I did that, just reacted. Anyway, back to the topic at hand, rough cut day, and why it's such a big deal for me. And I guess to better appreciate it, let me kind of take you through the last 4 weeks that got us here. Now the rough cut is the first cut many people who worked on the film or who financed the film will see. So it's important to showcase it in as polished a state as possible. So here are 5 tips that I follow when preparing my rough cut for review. Now fundamentally, editors are storytellers, and storytelling is a very refined craft. And it is something that you will constantly be refining throughout the process of your edit. And of course, your storytelling should be as sharp as possible for the rough cut. Now week 1 for me is always a bit tricky. I mean, I've been doing this for 15 years, and week 1 on any edit, doesn't matter what show I'm on, I always feel like I'm like on my very first edit, on my very first show ever. It's unbelievable how that happens, and it probably has everything to do with the fact that I don't know the footage. And part of like knowing how to do this job effectively is to know the footage. So week 1 is kind of the beginning of that. It's a little bit daunting. The good news is that there is a script for this show. So this week is really just about getting the story right on a fundamental level. Because a good first week sets the stage for week 2. Music is an integral part of almost any edit. It's also one of the first things that can ruin the flow of the narrative. Now because of this, I always build the music in my edits at an early stage. It's important that music complements both the narrative and the tone of the scene. And doing this early on really elevates the storytelling. And I have an entire show to essentially score, so I take existing composed music and I apply it to the edit. It's sort of like being a pseudo Hans Zimmer, except for you're not writing and recording music, we're using composed music to elevate the drama to a new level. Music is a big deal in almost any show you work on. Now the show uses some pretty great VFX elements, but up until week 3, we really just have them slated in our edit and have storyboard drawings to kind of get a sense of the action. Now these animatics, which are animated versions of the action, just kind of low res, come this week, and let me tell you, they completely change the edit. Now part of creating a really good rough cut is creating a compelling sound design. Now sound design creates ambience and can really capture the atmosphere of a scene, especially in action type scenes. Now if you're working with VFX elements that aren't final, a good sound design will really help sell the action and serve as a great template for the VFX teams.
Watch out!
Now as an editor, you need to combine tons of different elements that need to work in perfect harmony. If the pacing of the narrative, music, or action is off, the flow will be destroyed and can be a very difficult viewing experience. Now, week 4 is actually a lot of fun. It's basically the next few days really perfecting the edit as much as we can, and that's going through the drama, making sure I have the right takes, going through the music and make sure I have the right cues at the right time, and going through and doing a really dense audio mix, especially for those like airplane crashes, the really dramatic moments in the scene. You really want good sound design to really punctuate that. So it's important to find the natural rhythm of the narrative and to make sure that that rhythm is present in your cut. Now, filmmaking is a collaborative effort, and as an editor, you'll probably have some good ideas being as intimate with the footage as you are. So don't be afraid to pitch your own ideas or insert your own personal touch into the edit. It's important to remember that editing is an artistic craft as much as it is a technical one, and a good editor can really elevate the film. Now, the rough cut is a huge amount of work. It's definitely not easy, but the work you put in the front end should hopefully pay off in the back end, give you a little bit more time to kind of work your magic and produce the best show possible. So those are my tips and tricks. I hope you guys found them useful, gave you some insight into the world of film and television editing. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. Hit that like button if you did. And if you want to see more, consider subscribing. I post videos every week, and we'll see you guys next time.